So what's sort of the overall vibe of the group right now? It seems like everybody's in pretty good spirits ahead of a rivalry game. Would you sort of sum up the way that you guys are at?
Yeah, I think we feel good where we're at. I mean, last league game was a big test and managed to get a result. So that was really good, and it keeps the train rolling and put us in a good position again on the table, somewhere where we want to be and want to stay. So that's good, but it can, that good feeling cannot take the place of hard work. So you got to combine that with keeping the level high at training, keep the spirits high as well, and that's usually a good combo. If you can keep those things going, high confidence, high training level training, everybody positive and happy, then those things can lead to positive results.
Is last year's playoff series, is that still a motivational factor, or is it far enough removed at this point that's gone, or is it still in the back of your mind as you go in to play Portland again?
No, I mean, for me, it's, if we get out on top, then it's going to feel good, obviously to get back at them. But I've said this before, MLS teams change so much from year to year. They're a different side, we're a different side. They've evolved throughout this year, and so have we. So for you to, I think, focus too much on that game, you'd be living in the past and really, I think, hurting yourself more than anything. So we're trying to focus on what's going on right now, what's going on with us, what's going on with them, mainly what's going on with us, and hope that what we can bring to the table on the weekend is going to be better than what they bring.
Coach mentioned how dangerous they are in transition and with turnovers. What do you see as the key to stopping that?
I think some smart fouls here and there will be good for us. Just a defensive shape when we're actually in possession. I think they come quite deep in their own box when they defend at times, and I think sometimes maybe you can almost get sucked into overcommitting. And next thing you know, I mean, watching tape against them playing even away at LAFC, a team that's been very, very dominant this year. Almost getting sucked in too deep, and then Blanco and all those other players countering very quickly and almost finding themselves in 3-on-2 transition moments. So I think our overall shape defensively when we're still in possession is going to be very key for our center backs, and especially if we're attacking over one side, maybe the outside back on the other side tucking in and giving us cover. And then, like I said, here and there taking a smart tactical foul is going to be key as well.
With that in mind, is this a game in which maybe you'd be a little bit more vocal with your back line, letting them know if they're getting a little bit too high or anything like that?
No, I mean, I'm always as vocal as I can possibly be. That doesn't really change. We can play against U12s. I'd be as vocal as I possibly could be. With that being said, that's something I think communication-wise that is happening now, is happening in the locker room while we're watching a tape. Because when I'm in front of 30,000, 40,000 people, then it's very difficult to communicate 40 yards ahead of you. They're not going to hear me anyways. So it's about being aware of those dangers before we go into the game, and then maybe sending constant reminders as much as I can to snap that at the forefront of their minds. Another thing for us that's going to be important is, when we have possession, when we do have our chances, we need to take care of those and get some goals.
You mentioned focused on where you're at and where they're at. It seems like both teams are near the top of the West, playing pretty well, looking like two playoff contenders. Is this a statement game in any way to kind of show where both of you are at in the hierarchy as you start to get later in the year here?
You guys are really trying to make this a really big game. I mean, I would say the reason why it's the biggest game is because if we win, we win the Cascadia Cup. And that's what we should be focused on. We can win a trophy. And yes, it's a trophy for the fans, but ultimately you're here to win things, and so this is an opportunity to do that. That's what I would want our players to focus on. It's an opportunity that you don't get too many times a year. 3-4 times max. This is it. This is an opportunity, and we should be hyped for it. We should be ready for it, and excited to have a chance to get one.
What do you think is the key to managing one of these? As you said, a game that maybe gets extra attention because of the rivalry and all that.
I think it's important you give it the proper preparation again. I mean, maybe that's coming from a goalkeeper, but I think when you've gone through situations, you've dealt with pressure, you've found experience. You should rely on that and go through the similar emotions again. You know, the moment you overhype yourself, then you start doing things differently, and you get out of a comfort zone, right? I mean, that's why we put hundreds, thousands of hours in on a training ground, so there's that familiarity. You know, that's why when I do my warm-up, I do it exactly the same way, because it makes me feel I've done this 5 million times. So I think maybe it's just taking a deep breath, dialing down, and then going through your motions, feeling that familiarity and readiness to perform again like you did the last 5,000 times.